Welcome
Back!
Reality
Check! Boom!
TV. What's going on, people? We back with another podcast, guys. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Today we have a very nice edition of this podcast. When we're filming right now, currently you might be watching after, probably you will be watching after, but what time of year is it right now?
It's pulling up on Valentine's Day. We are T-minus 3 days away from Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day if you're watching this with your loved.
And also, it's also Black History Month. All my black people, Wakanda forever. You know what I mean? So, in light of that, we have very interesting some topics today.
Yes. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this one. It's a book by Ty'rone Haughton. It's based out of the UK.
Also, this is a poetry book. It's not it's not like a novel. So don't be, if you're a person who doesn't like reading, don't be scared right now.
It's like one-pagers, but
yeah.
Just what's on these pages are very impactful. Check him out. He's a poet. He is a father. He is a son. He is the product of his own hard work. And he's very inspiring. I read his book, his poetry book, and it's sectioned into 3 different sections, which is, it's called Hoods, by the way, which is child, man, father. And let's get into it. There's a few pages in here that I actually haven't read yet, and I wanted to experience it with y'all. So
I haven't read it either.
I, as a black male individual, which if we flip to the back of the book, is kind of this book is kind of tailored towards helping black boys. It says, for boys without permission to be children, privy to life's ills way too soon, to men who were never taught how to be, trying on roles to see what fits, to see who we are, fathers learning on the job how to father their cubs and also themselves, doing all you can to protect their futures from your past, all whilst being black. These poems explore childhood, manhood, and fatherhood, and how the quality of the former affects the latter.
Ooh.
May all your hoods be beautiful.
Ooh.
Hoods is Ty'rone Haughton's debut poetry collection. Take in, this is his debut.
And he's already killing the game, bro. He's already killing. Let's
get into it.
Let's not even waste one more time. Let's dive into it. Come on, bro.
Let's get into it, bro.
I read one.
Yeah, I read you one.
Wow.
Yeah. This one's called In the Middle. Somewhere in the middle of the country, in the middle of the street, just off the main road, there is a house where in the middle of the night cries a newborn, hungry for mother's milk. The crack pipe pops out in front of a mother's offspring. Midwives love the jazz, the plants, and art. Police try to bring calm to disputes. Families always fight at Christmas, but this year, we're here to celebrate the brightest gift. There is a house where in the middle of the night, tired-eyed parents find new ways to love. Old patterns and cycles still evoke pain. There is water and thirst, food and hunger, mother and baby learning the latch. Ambulance sirens sneak quietly through the blinds, a sober end to the night. But let us hold on to this high. There's no notice for when it's the last time. There is a house where in the middle of the day, sunlight storifies the night that just left. Eyes black and eyes red, we're all blinded by love. The days show our view is the same, but in perspective there's change. There's parallel lanes, a set of destinies going separate ways. There's the worst and best, cursed and blessed, birth and death, dance in unison step under the glance of the same moon. This all happened somewhere in the middle of the country. In the middle of the street, just off the main road, there's a wall in the middle of two terraced territories. Twins, if you will. The interior is where the difference is. We share many similarities, yet yet have many more differences.
Bro, you know what immediately that reminds me of? A song by J. Cole called Tale of Two Cities.
Speak on that. Speak on
Bro, immediately.
Speak on it.
Because it's basically him saying, it's almost the same thing, but like, it's basically the idea of there's two different kids growing up in the same city, but in like opposite sides of the same fence, basically.
Right.
And one is growing up in like a better environment, and one is growing up in like the hood, if you will. And it's basically talking about the idea of they can be in the same relative situation or same context, but then because I shouldn't say context because they're in different contexts, they're in the same environment but in different contexts, which will inform how they view the world. So like one is like they're both trying to get the same goals, they're both trying to, you know, have the same desires in life, but the way they go about achieving them is completely different. Like one is like, hey, I'm about to get rich. The other one, I'm about to get rich. But one is, I'm about to go sell drugs. The other one is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like different. And then this one, it's like they're like everyone is trying to do their best to raise their families. Yes. And one is in a particular situation, one is in a particular situation under the same moon, it says. Yes. They look up, it's the same sky. Same sky. Same. Wow. Yes.
Just and in this part of the poetry book, we're in fatherhood. If you could probably gather that with but the days show our view in the same, but in perspective there's change.
Say that again.
The days show our view is the same, but in perspective there's change.
Bro, that's the days show that our views are the same, but in perspective there's change. Bro, that's exactly, dude.
Just that few couple lines literally sums up this in the middle of like how we share so much, but yet still
so little.
We're so different. How we interpret, how we push out into the world, what we think about when an event happens and how that impacts us is based on what every other experience we've had in our perspective in that moment. Which, you know, if you ever heard of Deepak Chopra, his philosophy is every thought is a magical lie.
Wow.
Because every thought we have is based on our perception. And our perception is our truth. But it is not the objective truth.
Yes.
So it's a magical lie.
That is very true.
So, yeah, I love this one. This is nice.
Bro, speaking on that too, I heard a line.
Yeah.
I literally just heard, I mean, it's an old song by Kendrick, but he said, let me remember the line. He's like, imagination is reality's vacation. Or like reality's peace or something. I can't remember. It's on to the next one. Alright, this one is called or titled Pain and Privilege. It's a one pager, so it's pretty nice and short. All of our losses were just lectures and lessons, regardless of what it cost us. We must accept this as a blessing. We are both from broken homes, cracked foundations. Together, we made one whole that still needs renovations. All we are is fractions, fractured by childhoods filled with bad reactions, poor attachments, incidents of abuse, which stole the innocence of our youth. He's rhyming too, which is... In a sense, we put our wounds to good use, refuse to let our pain be reused by him and by you. What we had was pain. What you have is privilege. Parents who made a lot from their little bits made middle class little kids, not with silver spoon, but with wiggle room to grow and be you, and a space to make mistakes, knowing you will always be assuredly safe. 2 fractured fractions. She is 3/4. I am barely a quarter. Both from broken homes, too damaged alone to ever get sold. But we put our fragments together and we made a whole.
Oh! Ah! Bro, what?
First of all, before we talk about this,
Dude, what?
I just need to acknowledge and appreciate the fact that he really was rhyming, bro. Like, he was really like, this is poetry. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but like, this is really like, I could really like, this is bro. This is bars, bro.
Bro,
and it's like multi-syllables too. It's not a lame rhyme either, bro.
Yes,
bro. This is Kendrick Lamar in here, bro.
And he actually references him. Like a part I read earlier in the book, he actually references Kendrick.
This is insane. Okay, then the actual context of this poem. The first thing that, because I read this one before, the first thing that jumped to mind was the last bit where he's talking about the fractions. 2 fractured fractions. She's 3/4. I'm barely a quarter. Both from broken homes, too damaged alone to ever get sold. But we put our fragments together and we made a whole. That is insane to me because there's a lot of talk these days about everything has to be 50-50.
Talk about it. Yes, sir. I love it already.
That's such a profound statement because I feel like in this generation, if you were to have any kind of relationship, platonic or not, if you were to have any type of relationship and you were to say to other people that, oh yeah, this relationship is, this person is giving this amount and I'm giving this amount, people would immediately frown upon it.
Yes.
That's a negative relationship to a lot of people. But the way he's explaining it here in fractions, saying we're both broken. She is this person and just has this missing piece. And I am that missing piece, basically. And then I am that missing piece to her, but then I have all this other stuff, and she is that missing piece to me. If you think about it in that way, it's a beautiful idea.
Yes.
But yet still, if you were to apply it, in the real world, I feel like a lot of people would not appreciate that.
Yeah. And it kind of, for me, where after you saying that, kind of bleeds into the idea of not every marriage or relationship you have to understand. It's not up to you to understand someone else's relationship or someone else's marriage or someone else's union, whether it's platonic or not. Like, you don't know what that person does for the other, and vice versa. You don't know. So like, looking out, like, and that's why people say nowadays, like, oh, you guys look so good on social media. It's like, okay, yeah, what is it like behind closed doors, right? And it's just like, that's what I think about when I hear you say that, because why are we trying to understand other people's marriages? It's not up to us. Like, that's their thing. But in this case, let's say, for example, that person loves and has the capacity to exude 3/4 of themselves.
Yes.
That fulfills the person that they're with.
Yes.
Naturally.
Yes. Very key.
Naturally.
That's just how they are.
And then the flip side of this, in this case, that 1/4 is exactly what she needs to produce the 3/4 that she's producing naturally. So in that sense, why does it matter if it's not 50-50? Or at least to him, at least he's interpreting it as, this is 3/4 and I'm a quarter. But I'm sure if you talk to his wife or, or his girl, like, I'm sure she would have a different perspective as well.
And I'll go one step further. Not only is it exactly what she needs, but I would even go further and say, if she is naturally producing 3/4, if she was to receive something that is more than 1/4,
too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
It's too much.
Wow.
It's too much. Yes. Obviously, you don't want something smaller than 1/4.
Yeah.
Because then she's not going to be fulfilled.
Right.
But if she's already the type of person that she's just a lot by herself.
Yeah.
She's a lot.
Yeah.
So she's 3/4. She's a character. Like she's a lot.
Right.
More than 1/4 is too much.
Yes.
It's too much.
Yes. And I think it's important to mention the context, I feel as though as a reader, this is just my opinion, of how he's writing this, is what she gives to the relationship and his perception of what he's able to give from himself given their backgrounds. Given their traumas and abuse that he referred to in the beginning. Right, where it was talking about together we made one whole that is still needed renovations. All we are is fractions, fractured by childhoods filled with bad reactions, poor attachments, incidents of abuse, which stole the innocence of her youth. Like, he's not just saying that about himself. He's saying that this happened to both of us.
Both of us. That's insane.
And on the other side of it, we are able to put our broken pieces together and create a brand new family, not looking at what we've been through, making a new destination for our future children together.
And take this into, it's a little bit different with if we're talking about a friendship, or even dating. But if we're talking about marriage specifically,
oh Lord,
I think a lot of people forget that, like, the whole point of marriage is the union part, right?
Yes.
You're becoming one.
Yes.
Which makes it so much more insane, because people get stuck on, oh, she or he is giving 3/4 or just like more than half, and this other person is giving less than half, or whatever. And so this person is their personality and they're acting upon 3/4, and this person is acting on only 1/4. But if we're talking about marriage and we're one now, that means that if you are exactly what I need, i.e. if I'm 1/4 and you're 3/4, I'm now acting on the 3/4.
Yes.
I'm not acting on my 1/4 no more. I'm acting on, you're adding to me.
Yes.
So now, and it goes back to the favorite example that everybody gives, where it's like two compatible people is like, if you have an extreme extrovert and an extreme introvert, are going to balance each other out, because in the situations where the extrovert would be too much, the other person is going to bring them back a little bit, and in the situations where the introvert would be too quiet, their partner would bring them out a little bit. So it's that exact situation where it's like, I might be 1/4 to you, but I'm not by myself though.
Yes. And the 1/4 that you are bringing doesn't negate the weight it carries.
Facts. Because without as much as you want to say that she might be more than me, or if we want to switch the roles, if I'm the one that's 3/4, as much as you want to say that I'm more than her, it wouldn't work if I didn't have that.
Exactly.